Expand. Now, Expand came out Tuesday. It's a relatively short but really, really excellent stylized platform, kind of like precision based adventure. And you play as this little red block. And the whole crux of Expand as a game, and I really, really love, is that it all takes place in a circle on the screen. And what I'm going to do is switch to a new game to start. And I'm going to play through a section of the game because I think it's one of those things that you need to see the game in motion, complete with the music, and understand how the game works to appreciate just how awesome it is from the fact that this has come from just two guys, both called Chris, strangely. And just how polished and fluid it is. And I'm very much one of those types of people that... I was saying this about Hob earlier on in the week in a failed live stream that conked out. When a game does something... Or when it asks you to do something and there's always like a furore around how you do it and the outcome that you get, the game becomes immensely satisfying, and that's what Expand does for me. The fluidity, the way how it just all gels beautifully together, but also the way how whatever you do, there's like a sense of grandeur about it, even though we're just going round in a circle with a square. So I'm just going to dive onto here, because as you can see I've completed the game with closure. So I'm going to shush. So as we play with the square, there will always be that white dot in the centre, and it kind of orientates you around, and so you move with the left analog stick as you go round, but the world moves constantly around you. Now if I kind of stop here, you'll kind of see that that whole circle will unfold, and it won't necessarily kick into motion until I get going. And because this is the tutorial section, it's not being harsh. But imagine some of this stuff later on when you've got to avoid things and it's all moving around in fluid motion and it's timed. But having said that, here we go, so you start to see like the way how things are going. It's worthwhile noticing that the quirk with the control is that when you press up, you float round in the circle. And initially for the first, so that's me pressing directly up, and your up is very much around where you are in the circle. Same as the left and the right. And it sounds a bit awkward to begin with, and it kind of takes you 2 or 3 goes to kind of get it right, and then you're like, okay, because your control is always in proportion to where you are in the circle. So up, down, left and right can kind of change around ever so slightly. Now death comes in this game when you get squashed, either by a black brick squishing you between the two, like what could have happened there, or red bricks will kill you straight off. So here we're saying on the be aware, I'm going to purposely get caught. Splat. And so the game will rotate back round again to a space where you can then be happy. And sometimes you need to kind of get into like a checkpoint for you to then open the next door. love the soundtrack to this game as well, by the way. It gets quite fraught and dramatic later on. It's very much like piano orchestra. There you go. So you can see that you're going to get squashed if you stay there. So you need to kind of time it properly and just be judgmental. But in general, the game will always push you back to a really, really close checkpoint. So overall, frustration on this game just doesn't happen. That didn't work, did it? Let's try that again. Because obviously you're covering way less distance unless you stay close. Splat. See the reset, nice and simple. Learn patience very quickly in this game. It rewards generally thinking about your movement as opposed to dive bombing it. So that was the tutorial section. So what I'm going to do, essentially this game branches out into 8 levels with like a little finale piece at the end. So I'm going to show probably 2 pieces of it so that you really understand how the game works like in real motion. And you can complete them, I believe, in any into some kind of order anyway. So you have different gates that you need to unlock, and a gate will kind of explain to you the process and the kind of crux of what you're going to have to deal with next. So here's the gate. Can you see what I was saying about like pressing up and down? It kind of flicks you around a little bit, but you get used to it so quickly. So can you see how I'm manipulating some of the circles it goes round? And that, I think, is going to be what this gate will talk about. Now, the game's very fair because if you get caught on a sliding black section, it will just push you one way or another. Obviously, if you hit a red section, not that you've seen one yet, but that will insta-kill you and take you back to the nearest checkpoint. So this gate is going to be all about timing. Get to the other one. That switch has pushed things the other way. Handily. can skip that room altogether and just dive straight in. I just love the fluidity of it. So it took me about 3 hours to complete the game. But it's one of those games, I think, that's probably more than the sum of its parts. Because I really like the art direction, the style and the music, and the controls are sublime. For me, this is the best game to involve just a square as a character since Thomas was alone. Watching live and has questions on the game, please do pop them in the comments and it'll be read out. So yeah, we're off to Peril. Okay, so it doesn't matter which direction you go, Peril will always be first. I did wonder that. Okay. So we'll do the Peril section and then I'll stop because I don't want to spoil the game for everyone. Simply, don't touch the walls. Red is bad. We know this in game logic now. This one's literally pushing me around to avoid stuff. And that's timed. I also notice as you go through more and more of the Peril levels, the music will get grounder and grounder. So it evolves as you play, which is awesome. This from the first time. I was like, no, don't go the other way. sometimes you'll die once to kind of remember the pattern, if that makes sense. If something feels and looks a bit abstract. Nearly. No, no. We're okay. We're okay. No, we're not. We are now. Anything where you have to go backwards is really, really hard in mouth. So that brings you to the end of the peril level. You then go out, collect your blob, and that fills one of the sections of the map. And then you go off and do each of the other three big chunky levels. Each one has its own little mini gate to open to begin with. And from where you go, peril is the easiest one. They get more and more complex as you go along. So they start involving quite often with manipulation. So when you move like out towards the edge of the screen, the whole circle kind of collapses and shrinks in on itself, and so you have to maneuver yourself around the maze. So very much like this actually. So you kind of have to flick in and out like that. And loads of red things will be kind of flying around the screen, and they might move or they might not move depending on what you're up to and what direction you're going in. So it gets quite creative and inventive. But yeah, I think it came out at $4.99 for the game, and then there's like an extra couple of quid for a soundtrack edition in the UK. It's not very often that I'll kind of go on and rave about something that I completed very quickly, but yeah, I was impressed with this game, absolutely loved it, couldn't put it down, finished it in 2 sittings essentially, and one of those was about 3 in the morning when I finished. About 2 to 3 hours completion. I'm sure other people that are much more dexterous than I am will get through it quicker. And it had like a little bit of an emotional ending as well. So yeah, thumbs up, great stuff. This is Expand, came out Tuesday, available on PlayStation 4 and I'm sure Xbox One and PC as well. You guys will take care. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you again. High Playing Games hopefully. Bye for now.